tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I'm rolling up the sleeves for The Flash, Season 1, the pilot episode. We are so excited to be here.
She is so excited to be here.
You guys have no idea. We're also excited to be here.
I mean, we are, but you're extra excited.
Okay, I am extra excited. I've been waiting for this show. It's the most anticipated show of the fall. We are finally here. Thank you, CW, for letting us see this. I am Roxy Striar. I have a full panel with me of amazing hosts.
You also have a full costume.
I feel like it should be acknowledged, but first you guys need to be acknowledged. Then we can get back to the costume.
I'll start. I'm Jeffrey Masters.
Okay.
Next is me. I'm Ashley Daniels. Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Jesse Klein.
And that is my amazing team. Not rogues. They're just... we're not even metahumans. What are
You
we?
don't know what I am, honey.
That's
You'll
true.
find out in episode 9 what I am.
So you will notice that I am in a full The Flash costume. You can't really see because... Oh, hold on. There you go. You see? The Flash. Here I am.
Move your hair so people can really see
You
it.
can see it. They
All
can
right, go
see
on
it.
Twitter, too.
And
It's on
everybody's on iTunes, and they're like, see what? See what? I am in full-blown costume. I will take off my mask, and we will start this after show. Guys... Honestly, I can't even breathe when I think about this show. I thought it was such an amazing, amazing pilot. I want to get your overall opinions on this first episode. What are we thinking across the board?
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed for it. I don't know about you guys, but like they set up a lot of pieces, and I'm excited to see like a bigger superhero universe. Like, you know, the Arrow, all of the Arrow's villains are kind of like, you know, a guy who's good at shooting things and like a guy who's pretty strong. Like I'm really excited to see a world where there's like superheroes doing like crazy superhero stuff. I'm pretty excited for it.
Absolutely. Ash?
Can I say fuck? I'm so fucking excited.
So I guess this after show is now explicit. Sorry,
okay, I
CW.
think he's so hot. I really do. I know that's so like stupid girl to say, like, but
No.
he's so cute and he's got this innocence about him that I feel like it's a little lighter than the Arrow.
Yeah.
He's so much
You know,
lighter.
the Arrow's a little more like aggressive, and he's just a little more like he's growing. I don't know. He just has it's sexy. It's just an innocence that I like about him.
Yeah, I loved how light it is. I like that it doesn't take itself like too seriously. Sometimes in like the very gray, like Christopher Nolan world, it's like yeah, everything has to be explained. But for this, it's light, it's fun. You can then believe things like the Weather Wizard exists.
Right.
And like I'm cool with that.
I was just going to say, you know, DC has taken us to a very dark place recently. We have been living in the shadows for a while now,
Yeah.
and we've been, you know, there's a lot of things to cry about when you watch these things. That honestly, you know, you feel really depressed after it. This show is going to be very different. They have said time and time again, this is going to be a fun, light, kick-butt superhero show,
Right.
which is why we're going to watch it. It's also on the CW, so it's fitting the network that it's on.
And how impressive that it was so fun and exciting and still like family friendly.
Yeah.
This is fine for an
Totally.
11-year-old.
Yeah, no, it was so awesome. It's first of all fun for people who are comic book fanatics, absolutely, and then really fun for people who know nothing about it. We, across the board, have all different levels of exposure to comic books. We're bringing you different experiences, so hopefully you won't hate us if some of us don't know everything. We are doing our best to keep up, but this universe is crazy, you know? It's an insane universe. We do have a couple experts on our panel that know a lot. So let's break down tonight's very first pilot episode and start by talking about Barry Allen, who is one of the Flashes. Unlike a lot of other superheroes, there are many Flashes they could have gone with this show. This is who they went with. Any idea why we picked this guy for the Flash, this version of the Flash?
Well, I think Barry's like the most relatable, especially since other Flashes take place during like, you know, World War II, that kind of stuff. And also I think he in general has a lighter tone to him. And since they're going for a light kind of fun romp, I think Barry's kind of the correct one to go with.
Okay. I'm definitely in agreement. I think that he was a great one to choose, and I love his backstory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, love's a really, really mean word to choose because it's a very upsetting backstory.
Right.
He lost his mother when he was 11 years old. We find that out in tonight's episode, and his father is blamed for it. And he always believed it wasn't his father because he saw this thing happen, and he was standing next to his dad. Are we on board with this? Are we thinking, like, what the hell's going on here? Or is everybody along for this ride when we're watching what happened?
I'm along for it, although I do have a question. Barry Allen gets his powers when he's struck by lightning from the particle accelerator. How did the guy circling the mom get his powers? Because in theory, they have the same exact powers of like this super speed.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to explain it in the show.
Yeah, because he exists before the particle accelerator.
You're wondering, was there another incident that happened?
Yeah.
Or what else is going to explain it?
Well, there were other incidents. I know with the other Flashes, like the water vapors. I know, like the first Flash, he got his powers from inhaling water vapors, so it could have been something like that. Didn't have to be.
That's not giving me powers.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be a lightning bolt.
They've talked about how they want to stick to the comics a lot, so I wonder, do we know at all how he got his powers?
Well,
and I look to my left.
I look to my right.
The character that
Flash left.
the character that he's based on, I don't know how close it is to the comic books. Character he's based on is a scientist that basically discovers a thing, and I don't think they're going to get into Speed Force, which is a thing that the Flash exists in. It explains why, when he runs and punches someone super fast, it doesn't break his arm and that kind of stuff. He exists in a thing called Speed Force that all of the Flashes kind of are connected to.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how this show is going to address that.
Or address how anybody else who got their powers prior to the particle accelerator.
Yeah. But it looks like the particle accelerator here is going to be the birth of a lot of different powers. It looks like it's like something, the way they're explaining it in Star Labs with Harrison?
Yeah.
Wells, yeah.
Harrison Wells was saying like there were all these incidents where they saw spikes in that energy. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of new super-powered people in this world, which is exciting.
Call them metahumans.
Yeah, metahumans.
Enough to fulfill like many seasons of villains and like cohorts.
Yeah.
We do have some
Absolutely.
confirmed metahumans for this actual show.
We have to save it for our news and gossip, our confirmed
And
one.
forget that.
So you'll have to stay tuned.
I was.
Okay,
what
but
was I?
while we're on
You're perfect.
Yeah.
You're perfect.
while we're on the
Dare I?
subject of the dad,
Yes.
what an amazing homage that they cast John Wesley Shipp. He played the Flash in the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
Really
That's
cool.
just like a nice, like heartwarming thing for the producers to be like, hey, we're not going to forget about it.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
got this in mind. You're in good hands.
It's a bunch of nods to people who have been following the Flash for years and years.
Yeah.
That's what we saw throughout the entire episode, which is so great to see. So we do get to see the scene with the mom that actually, when she dies,
Yeah.
which I didn't know we were going to get into that. Episode 1, we saw it happen right before, so we're along for this ride with him. We're going with him, and then we find out that when his dad goes to jail, he ends up staying with the Wests. So that means Iris, who there is sexual tension up the wazoo with, and the detective, which is Iris's dad. Overall thoughts on Barry's relationship with Iris, because she seems to be referring to him as her brother.
Yeah.
And he, correct me if I'm wrong, is looking at her like, ooh, I want to have sex with you. But in a nice way.
You're right.
He
In a
feels
nice
it.
way.
I think he feels it. I think she is unaware of his feelings. She's not so. It doesn't seem like she's really grasping how much he likes her in that other type of way. I think he also is really a little bit confused himself. Seems like this might be like the first girl he really likes in that case.
Right. And this is all pre anything even
Right.
happening.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I don't think she was totally aware, because if she was totally aware, because she's so sweet, she wouldn't have been so open, I think, about her newfound relationship with that,
Yeah,
I almost called him
absolutely.
a
Does
bad
he
name.
have a great like love interest, like a Lois Lane that he's always chasing after?
There's no
I don't
Lois
remember.
Lane for the Flash. There's not like a big one like
He's
that.
on the market.
I mean, there
people.
are some. I mean, in some versions of the comics, like he has a wife and kids. Like that's the thing with the Flash is like because there are multiple generations. Like some of the Flashes like have a real life and like their parents are there and like that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think what they're gonna try and do is like a Dexter type, like will they, won't they? Because it's a very similar relationship. If you ever watched Dexter, it's a very similar kind of thing where it's like his sister wasn't necessarily his biological sister. And so then some weird stuff happened.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, CW is not foreign to this either. We saw it on Gossip Girl. You know, they marry into the family, their brother, sister.
Yeah.
We get into that territory a lot these days. I'm not sure where I want to see this ending up. I guess we're going to have to see more about their relationship. We're on E1.
Yeah, I mean, it's such like a CW thing to do, but I feel like also with Twilight, we're just conditioned to see love triangles everywhere and like want to pick a side. So for us to be like, oh, she's got to pick the detective or Flash and she has to do it now. Like, you know, I think that's something that we're conditioned to look into a little bit more than actually exists.
Yeah, that's very, very true. It's very true. You know, anytime I see a man and a woman on screen, I'm like, yep. They're going to kiss. They're going to kiss. It's like, no, that's her father. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. I live in Hollywood where a lot of times older men date younger women. So, you know, and that's what we see in tonight's episode. Okay, let's talk about, we have everything that happens before. The world seems a little crazy, and then it's about to get a whole lot crazier.
Yes.
So this incident takes place that was seemingly harmless at the time. Nobody was trying to do something very bad from what we know.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused by this because we don't know who Wells and the two people, Cisco and Caitlin, we don't know if they're good or bad yet. You informed me that, Jesse, that the Cisco and Caitlin characters are villains in the comic books.
Well, at least Caitlin's name is Caitlin Snow, which is the alias for one of Superman's bad guys, which is Killer Frost.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see. She has a really tragic backstory. Her fiance or husband, or
she said in this, her fiance died.
Her fiance died when the particle accelerator exploded. So she obviously has some pain in her background, which is a lot of supervillains have that. I don't know if it might be just paying homage though. Like a lot of the things they did, it seemed like they were doing, like, you know, Ferris Airways, which is a popular thing in the Green Lantern universe. A lot of those things, it seems like they might have just been paying a little bit of an homage to the comics, saying like, look, we're fans of the world that you guys are fans of as well. So
we know their names.
You're in good hands, basically.
Honestly, I don't know. I think I disagree with that. I don't think that I think they're planting breadcrumbs for like the sake of this show were to run for 10 seasons, like a Smallville. They need to have like things lined up just in case.
Which is very smart for them to do right now.
Yeah.
But so we don't, what we think is that they're on team good as of right now. And this was an incident that they didn't mean to blow up into what it actually did. But this happens, and
I'm sorry, are we going to the first scene right now?
We're talking about the particle accelerator.
Okay. Are we going to go back to the beginning part though, when he?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, no, I just want to know because I had something I wanted to say.
You go, girlfriend. Well, you tell us. Hit us.
Well, no, because so the particle accelerator happens after, but before with the first scene. Remember when he first arrives at work?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that he was very late for work, and and I wouldn't expect that from him, but I did read a bio about him on one of the comic sites, one of the guru sites, and they were saying that he's always going to be one step behind as fast as he is because he's always stopping to help people, which made me think, is he trying to help someone prior to that scene? Is that why he's arriving late to the crime scene?
Well, I love that you just took us back there. I think
I just had to say that. We can go further now.
No, I think that it's awesome.
It's very rare where I come up with something, so I'd like to.
That is so not true.
I wanted to say it.
You were handpicked for this panel for a reason. I love that. No, I think that it's really interesting. I love that we got to see him before he got his powers. And if he was helping somebody there, you know, he clearly wasn't just there to give a chocolate bar to somebody. You know? We don't know exactly why he's running late, but we get to see the human side of him. We all run late for things. Maybe he was helping somebody. Maybe he was tying his shoe and playing video games. We don't know, you know?
Well, they did a lot of setting up, like when he was a kid, they were setting up that he's inherently just a good guy. Like they did a lot of
he was getting bullied.
A little cheesy with the mom dialogue with like, you have a good heart. But
who called it?
Said some really
someone said like, you just know he's gonna die. She's gonna
die. It's better to have a good heart than fast legs. Thanks, Mom.
It's like, I'm sure you'll live forever now because you say things like that.
It was really cute though.
And of course they like made a very deliberate choice to cast Grant Gustin, who's more in the vein of like the Andrew Garfield, the skinny aging wearing skinny kid.
Which is very interesting because actually Barry Allen, and you again correct me if I'm wrong, but he's known for being more. It's better with women than he's showing off right now. He's known for being like a little hipper and in this he's a little dorky, which is awesome. I love the dorky characters because, like you said, Ashley, he's hot.
It's sexy. Yeah, he's innocent.
He's
sweet,
sexy.
You know?
He's coming off of Glee, which I also cover here, so I've been obsessed with him for a long time. I also covered 90210, which he came off of before. So like I've been waiting for this guy to blow up, and he is.
I thought he was good in Glee, but I thought he was great as the Flash.
Amazing.
Yeah, the acting was
shocked.
real strong this entire episode.
Yeah.
Right.
And know what else was strong? His hair. He was running so fast,
Strong
it did not
hair game.
move.
You've got a
What
strong hair
happened?
game.
How does his hair not move? Are you kidding me?
Pretty awesome.
We should call and ask. What gel are you using, honey?
Oh my God, Grant. Oh my God, I'll tweet at you.
I love what this side of the table is bringing right
You
now
know
and
what?
noticing.
You couldn't live without us.
No, it's awesome.
I just want to talk about what's important, okay?
There was also, if
I
we're
agree
going
with
back
you.
to the investigation, I really like the effect they did where it showed him seeing the evidence.
Oh yeah,
And,
Yeah.
and then like showing like how he deduced like the type of car it was, like that kind of stuff. That was really cool, and I hope they don't.
with the white writing on the screen.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very
I hope
cool
they
effect.
don't drop that because that was a really interesting way to see like how he is a forensic specialist.
It let
was
us into
seeing
his
a
mind.
crime scene. Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
thought that was awesome. And I think that it's different than other shows. Of course, if you watch The Arrow, which we can talk about later on because it does come in tonight's episode, but they do things a little differently. And a lot of superhero shows, people end up losing interest in because there aren't switching things up enough or there isn't enough differences all the time. And I think that effect could really help people stay with this and say like, oh, it's cool that I can see this. Oh, it's
Right.
cool that all these different superhero powers are being used. All those things. And like Jeff was saying before, they're planting all of these seeds. It's important on season 1, episode 1 for you to be able to see a season 10, episode 20, you know,
Sure.
and they're planting all these things that are going to make us want to stay along for this ride, which is awesome. Really, really cool. Okay, unless we have any more hair comments or about him being late, we're going to move on.
I may
to
have some later.
That's okay. We can always come back.
Maybe the hair comment is a nice way to segue into the musical Rent, starring Jesse L. Martin.
Who is amazing in Rent
Playing
and is
another
now-
cop.
It's very, very good call. Very good call.
He's just so likable.
There are a lot of very likable characters on the show, which makes me very nervous because I have a feeling that half of those likable characters are villains. So,
Or die. We'll die. Yeah.
Or die. One of the two. So
Yeah.
soon there'll be nobody likable left. No, that's not true. As long as we have the Flash, we have somebody likable. Okay, so we get to the particle accelerator, which ends up leaving the world in shambles. We don't really see the direct aftermath. We kind of wake up with Barry 9 months later.
Yeah.
So
He could have had a kid.
Right.
he could have had a child. I do think
He's
that
a
would
man.
have been a bigger question, but you never know.
You don't
I
know.
mean,
Yeah.
He's a metahuman now. He could have.
He did get abs in that time.
We don't know.
Lightning gave
and
me
we know.
abs.
Okay, if you saw him on Glee, you know he had abs. so-
Well, it was stated
said it.
in
Was
he
this,
shirtless
and
in
I
that?
didn't see him shirtless yet.
No, I just he looks so good on stage. You could tell. You know, you could tell somebody with their shirt on. You're like, oh, I know you have abs. Anyway, so we wake up 9 months later, and he has been moved. He has been moved to being with the people we don't know whether they're villains or not. We think that they're good.
Sorry. I thought you meant like emotionally moved. Like that's really moved me.
So that too, you
Like
know.
okay, physically he's been moved.
We
Sorry.
physically
Okay.
moved positions, like
He's
the
in
body.
Star Labs.
Yes, he's at Star Labs with a sick ass sweatshirt on. Where do I get the Star Labs sweatshirt?
Yeah.
We need that.
We'll Google
Sweet
it.
merch.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's cool to wear the Flash cup, but the Star Labs, we need that across the... Oh, don't laugh at me. It is cool.
And Star Labs is a famous, like, is a staple in the DC universe.
Star Labs, Iron
Yeah.
Heights, we're seeing a lot of different places
Right.
that are known in the DC world. You know,
Yeah.
we're in this universe
Yeah, you
now. It's
spotted the
cool.
sign for Grodd there.
Yeah, there was Gorilla Grodd after that. There's
He's one of the
like a
biggest
giant
villains.
cage, and the Grodd is a name tag. So I really hope we get to see a Gorilla Grodd.
Lots
That'd be
of
awesome.
clues like
You
hidden in
spotted
this
Iris
pilot.
too, the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was-
Yeah, I overall I really like the way they shot this and kind of left little breadcrumbs, as you were saying, to the fans. Like there was a lot of lightning bolt imagery where people would have like cups of coffee and there would be a yellow lightning bolt on a red background. The scene where after he wakes up and he goes and confronts Iris, if you look in the background, there's a sign that just says Iris.
Right.
So I think it'd be really interesting. I like the way they shot it. I hope they keep that up. I think it's a great way to reward people for being observant. And
well, you know,
looking
it's
at
produced
stuff.
by Greg Berlanti, who's so prolific now. He also did Arrow. He has so many series out. But also David Nutter directed this, and he's like the pilot king. He did Arrow. He did Smallville. He's done so many superhero shows.
Gets it.
I think a pilot king is Admiral.
It was also cast by the casting king.
In the last like 11 or
David
12
Rappaport.
pilot seasons, this director David Nutter has had like 10 picked up.
They put together an A squad.
Yeah.
Like they brought out all of the big guns. I mean, there was nothing about watching this episode that made me think, they really cheaped out here. Or,
I agree.
You know, we really brought out all the stops, which is awesome. Like you're saying, from director to casting director, obviously,
I
shout
love
out.
this cast.
Yeah, we love this cast. Shout out to David Rappaport, who came in for to AfterBuzz before and is so incredible. We're having him on later in the season, so stay tuned for that. But he cast this. It was a great cast, and I really appreciated all of the imagery, all of those things that we're saying. It's those small details that are going to make comic book fans really happy about this show.
Yes.
And those are the ones who are the super fans that we love coming to AfterBuzz TV. So thank you guys for tuning in right now. While we're on that, if you're on iTunes, rate, comment, subscribe, give us 5 stars, please. We read everything. We write back to you. We love you guys. You're amazing. If you're on YouTube, please comment there as well. We will have conversation with you. This is the best thing we can do in the week because otherwise it's just too hard to get to next Tuesday without you.
You know what? Let us know if Roxy should wear the costume every week. We want to know.
Or maybe a new costume every week. Or a new superhero.
That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, I'll just expense that to AfterBuzz.
Yeah,
Thank you. True story. I had this costume for a play that I was in where I did not play the Flash. Randomly enough.
That makes sense.
Yep, of
It
course.
was meant to be.
Yep.
Meant to be.
So we're at Star Labs, coming back, and we see that Wells is in a wheelchair. So we can assume at this point something happened that made it so he could not walk anymore. There's a lot of other things that happened in the aftermath also. Barry wakes up and immediately he wants to leave. Classic Barry, you know. I say that like
Classic
this.
Barry.
No, this has been 12
Every
seasons.
episode.
Classic. He
She's
always
known Barry
does
a
this.
long time.
Yeah, you know.
You know,
Barry.
I think
go
like
way
we were
back.
saying that Caitlin Snow is also Madame Frost. What's her name?
Killer Frost.
Elsa Frozen.
Yeah.
Killer Frost.
She's Elsa from
Elsa.
Frozen.
She appears in Frozen. She's
Yeah.
played by Idina Menzel. As well as Cisco. I don't see how these 3 people who are the closest to the accelerator during explosion cannot be exposed.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't know yet. I mean, maybe they have.
Well, I know
been.
there's only been 1 episode.
I know, but that's what I'm thinking. They must have been exposed. Something
Yeah.
must be up.
It
Especially,
doesn't matter though. Even if they're exposed, sometimes are you talking about when they're exposed, how they can actually have their?
Well, we're just
Yeah.
talking about the 2. We're talking about Caitlin and Cisco right
Cisco.
now. Maybe they have powers they haven't revealed.
Right, but sometimes the power doesn't come immediately. Sometimes it can be triggered, but it takes a while.
That's
Right,
right.
absolutely.
Also,
So-
you know what? Though they had so many knowing looks between each other, and at one point Grant was like, "I can't be the only one," and they looked at each other,
I noticed that as well.
and I was
Yeah.
like, "What are they not saying?" And or like to tell him, "Yeah, it's us."
And do they know? Yeah, do they know? Obviously, this is jumping the gun a little bit, but we do end up seeing that Wells actually can walk
Yeah.
and doesn't need the wheelchair. What do they know about Wells? How well do they know him? At one point, Caitlin says that Wells has been her boss for a very long time. You know, she didn't come to him after this, so. Are they closer? Is he closer with Cisco or with Caitlin? Are Caitlin and Cisco very close to either of them have powers? There's a lot of questions about that threesome right now that we have no answers to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are, I mean, I guess we're just going to have to keep watching for that. I don't know how strictly they're following the comic books, if these are villains or if they're not. But right now, I'm feeling like they are the only people that understand where Barry Allen's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to put them on our team because we have no choice.
And magical creatures or not, elven creatures, whether or not they have powers, there is much that they are not telling us,
Yes.
aka Barry Allen.
And they seem to want to help. They seem to want to run tests on him and help. But the reason they seem to want to help is because they think that his genetic makeup could be the map to curing things because he's able to heal, he's able to move quickly, all of these things. Do we feel like they're using him a little bit?
No.
I think that might be like a side story, like that there will be that the episodes will have like overall arcs. There will probably be like a freak a week. There will be a monster. that he'll have to fight. And I think much like in the Arrow, where there's like the island and kind of like all of that kind of conspiracy behind it, I think that might be a side story where it's like, is Barry being used? Can he trust Star Labs? Star Labs isn't necessarily a force for good. In the comics, they're not necessarily a force for good. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they take advantage of Superman. Sometimes they try and clone Superman. Sometimes like that kind of stuff.
Was this the place that had locked up people in Smallville and was testing on them?
I haven't seen Smallville in forever. But it sounds like it could be like there's a Star Labs is just a science place. Like they don't really care if they're being good or bad a lot of times. They just care about the science. Yeah.
Right.
Very, very interesting point.
Do we think that he is wise enough that he can kind of notice if he is being used, or is he so innocent that he thinks everybody is good unless they're showing?
He's naive as of now, for sure, because he hasn't had these powers and he doesn't know.
But he was picked on as a child, which we see, so he could already have that ability to like think,
But he kind of kept getting
a little
picked on.
negatively in a sense.
He's such a smart character, but I feel like also in this world, he can only rely on these three people that know about his powers and can answer questions.
And Cisco seems like a buddy, like
does.
and super excited about the powers. Like I like all those characters. I like the three of them. I like that. I like that Harrison Wells could be possibly a bad guy, but as of right now, he seems like he's a kind of supportive figure. Although he did have that moment where he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he did. But then he was a good coach. So, the other person...
Barry, run!
Yeah, exactly.
The other person that we see that he's able to rely on and that he thinks will understand him, of course, is our homage to Arrow. So he goes and he sees the Arrow. So he sees Oliver and he goes and is like, this is what happened to me. And it was this very brief scene, but I was really excited about the fact that he went. Those seem to be...
Question.
Yes.
Did he go there because of the flashback that he had of his mother? Is he afraid that he's going to have these recurring flashbacks when he's running fast and he thinks maybe he can help him figure out his thoughts? Or is he there more of just to know, like...
Just like to relate to
advice?
somebody, I think.
I think it was right after Wells gave that speech where he's like, "You're not a hero.
Yeah.
You're not going to be special." And I think you went to him to see how the Arrow worked, and in that scene, the Arrow kind of picked him back up and said, "I don't think the lightning struck you. I think it chose you."
Right. Inspiring.
I think you struck the lightning.
Yeah.
That's what you
said. Unravel the tornado.
It was like the Joseph Campbell moment of like, you can do this, you got it.
Right.
Yeah, and
go, girl.
And I think it's actually it's the exciting thing about the Flash is very different than the superheroes we've seen in the DC universe so far, where Batman and the Arrow and even Superman are kind of aloof and separate from humans. The Flash is really a man of the people. Like his city loves him.
He's not in hiding.
And they know he exists. And so when it gets to that level in the story, it'll be really interesting to see how that gets explored. Because we haven't explored that in any other type of superhero medium, where it's like the city loves their superhero.
I thought that was really, really cool. Cheer for the superhero. I thought that was really, really cool that we saw tonight, because in Arrow or in any of these other shows, we spend so many episodes until they're revealed to somebody. But we see in tonight's episode, after he gains some confidence from, he goes on this run and then he has this suit made for him and all of those things. Then he goes and he saves the person who kind of raised him. Detective West. So he goes and he saves him and he's revealed to him. So quickly. He has no mask on at that point. He runs in his quick circle. He calls his coach. Coach, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, yeah, you can. Run, Forrest, run. And then he's just naked faced.
Right. Well, that's going to be the way that he's going to now know. He's probably now there's 4 people that know of his real identity.
Yeah.
He's the 4th person, and that's how they end, because he's the one that said he didn't really believe him.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a perfect scenario.
How devastating was that scene that he didn't believe him? He says, he comes down really hard. You it was your dad who killed your mom. There was no way that this is who you saw, and obviously we're going to talk about Weather Wizard in a minute, but there's no way that you saw him. He was so mean to him. For this to be the turnaround, this is how it turned out. It must be such a sign of relief for him. Like, okay, I'm not crazy. This isn't a dream. And now he knows. I wasn't making it up.
Yeah,
you know?
that was the real victory. I mean, he won the fight against the Weather Wizard, but I think getting his now father figure to be on his side was kind of the victory that we were seeing. And I think that's going to be kind of, for the rest of the season, that's going to be kind of what it's about. Is like him balancing both those father figures. Because his dad is super sad. Like his biological father, that's so sad.
It's so sad.
I didn't even think about the fact that he was in a coma for 9 months, and so his son could be dying, and he was stuck in prison.
So sad.
That entire time. That was a real bummer.
And who's like coming in? You know, it's not like he can call every day and be like, "How's he doing? How's he doing?" Just waiting for a phone call one day that his son passed away. I'm sure. It was a really, really sad moment.
Well, those are the glimpses of the not so light parts of this show that we get.
We got a
family
sprinkle in.
type. Yeah,
and some like heartwarming moments at the very end.
Absolutely.
You know, I love seeing characters' backstories, but I love that they didn't spend so much time on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick of like the flashback movies. It's all origin stories. Like, let's see the character, let's see them have like the mastery of their skills, and let's see them be superheroes.
And
I like the build up.
I agree.
Not too much.
Let's see their current relationships and know that we're smart enough that we can notice tension. We can put the pieces together. So one of the... Go ahead.
I was saying that I keep comparing it to Smallville because it was on the CW. That lasted 10 seasons. And it was
just origin story.
Yeah, it's only origin story. The final episode and a half, you see him in the Superman suit, finally. In this show, in the first scene, you see the Flash outfit. And then the very end. Like, thank you for that.
Loved that outfit, by the way. I thought that it was a great kick
Great chin
outfit.
strap.
Right. But going back to the fact that this is the person who raised him. So we've got Detective West, who is the person who he's probably been closest with, the closest thing that he had to an adult figure in his life. And now he has to keep this secret from him. And the secret is that his partner is dating his daughter.
The detective's partner.
The detective's
So
partner.
Joe's partner. Yeah.
Detective
Eddie.
West's partner.
Yeah.
Eddie
Thorne.
Or
Who's
Thawne.
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 Is dating Iris.
Yeah.
Which is devastating for multiple reasons. Number one, because we know that Barry is attracted to her. Number two, now he feels like he has to lie about what's going on. And number three, because we kind of have a feeling we know who this Eddie is, and we will not spoil it for you now. We will get to that in a little bit. But...
I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't think it's that big of a secret to hide. I don't think it's devastating.
Well, it could be devastating.
I think it's devastating for Barry. I think Barry.
I think when you know who it is, too, it becomes really sad.
Yeah.
Because the poor girl has no idea.
Right. Okay, so let's nerd out a little bit here then.
Yeah.
Go ahead, let's nerd out.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so Eddie Thawne that's the name of possibly the Flash's biggest enemy, which is Professor Zoom.
Oh, dun, dun, dun,
And
dun.
Professor Zoom is the one who...
Could possibly be the one who killed his mom, because the whole thing, Zoom has a yellow suit with red lightning on it, and that's what we saw in the
supposed to be
flashback.
like the
When
reverse
he
of
was
Flash.
running, remember
Yeah.
when he was running, you saw yellow, and that's what got him to kind of crash?
Yeah.
So that's probably tied into the yellow, right?
Yeah,
The colors.
exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
All of that, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so this is a big, big thing, and now this guy is potentially seeing his sister/love interest, which is devastating for him. How is that not devastating?
I guess keeping a secret to me isn't a big deal.
Oh, okay.
Keeping a secret isn't a big deal.
So let's switch gears for a second and let's talk a little bit about our Freak of the Week, which would be Weather Wizard. Yeah. You know, I didn't know who this was going in because they were referring to him as the Morden brothers.
Yeah.
We end up, and Ashley was our nerd of this one.
I was.
She
I left my glasses at home, but I actually.
You'll bring them next week.
Yeah.
So we've got this guy who we thought crashed in the plane 9 months ago, and that was just part of the aftermath of the situation. We thought he died. He is not dead. He's very much so alive, and not only is he alive, but he is God. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
He thinks
He at
he's
least
God.
thinks he's God, yeah.
He thinks
I just said God like you. I say God. You say God.
He's got some bent hands.
So anyway, we see him, and he is robbing a bank. He is in this bank robbing it. You jackass! Who on earth I mean, I guess this is how villains work, but who gets superpowers and is like, yeah, I'm going to rob a bank with
Who
this?
ruins the beautiful? I'm sorry, but it was all the beautiful paint. The what are they called?
The stained glass window.
The stained glass ceiling was gorgeous. I
It
think
was CGI, Ashley.
It doesn't matter. It was wrong. All wrong. It inspires wrongdoings and
Okay, here's the
people
deal.
that want to do bad things.
It was the Morden brothers.
Yeah.
Where's
With
the
Clyde.
brother?
Yeah, I'm
Clyde
guessing.
Morton.
I'm
Good
guessing
question.
the other brother will come back.
Maybe with
What
a
does he do, like
vengeance.
this?
Yeah.
Certainly, because we do see that there will be no more Clyde Morden. He is now dead.
Uh-oh.
You know, or at least that's what the spin and all of these things that happened. First, we see Barry and he tries to say what happens and nobody believes him, and so he does it himself and he takes us on and he notices him in this car accident and he gets in the car, which was such a cool scene.
That was really cool.
Really
Yeah.
cool. I loved watching that. I loved seeing all those different things. But he's in the car and the car flips, and so we got that really cool moment. And then he says, Morden. And the guy turns around and fog rolls through and that whole shebang.
And
so,
then there was light.
and on the seventh day. No. So this was a really, really cool moment. It definitely had me on my toes. And it was a unique way to show Weather Wizard. I thought that was awesome. How did we feel about this Monster of the Week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, they start off the show saying you need to believe in the impossible.
Right.
And so this man who we're calling the Weather Wizard, hilariously in the DC, he can control weather. And I say, okay, you told me to. I'll believe it.
Yeah.
I'm on for the ride, baby.
I'm believing everything they're selling me. You're selling
I'm
it,
drinking
I'm
the
buying
juice.
it. Yeah,
Give me more
absolutely.
Kool-Aid, please.
Absolutely.
All I have to really add is I'm really happy with the visual effects. I mean, there were some things where it was like, it's a little cheesy looking.
Yes.
But most of it was
What did
really
you find
clean.
cheesy looking, guys? Because Ashley, you nodded yes.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, the stained glass was a little
Okay, I thought that was very
chunky
realistic. Actually, that wasn't what I was going to say.
Okay,
I thought the things going around the mom when she was dying, it was a little bit like I want to have this moment of being sad, but it's really hard to because these colorful things are just wrapping around and they look a little strange.
and
like
that's
one
how
of those,
Barry must have felt.
That was the-
yeah,
bother
it
me.
was like it was
No, I
a
thought they were
weird.
good.
It was like a very weird picture.
Okay, so at that point, though, Barry does not have his magic speeding powers. How did he speed out of the house in the middle of the street?
exactly.
I
How?
think maybe he
No,
was
he was
carried
thrown.
out or
Yeah.
thrown out.
This is what as story goes. He was thrown 20 blocks, which is why nobody believed him that he was there. When he says, my dad was with me, he didn't kill him. They're like, we found you 20 blocks away from the crime scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
you weren't there.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
Did the person that we think probably did the villain who did this, did he have anything to do with throwing him 20 feet just because he wanted to frame the father to make him be
Well,
fatherless?
in part of the spin, he was, the villain, part of the spin
yeah, but
was
do you think
throwing
that
him.
it was
You think
unintentional?
it was a
Strategic.
frame on purpose?
Yeah.
I think that's
Piss him off?
possible.
Yeah,
I think
definitely
that's
possible.
I think that's very possible.
Wow.
Since the dad is a doctor and he could have been working on something very similar to the particle accelerator we see now, and the person who killed the mom and framed the dad could have had a hat in that kind of ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
While we're getting to the end, can we talk briefly about the newspaper clipping with 2024?
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's definitely something we need to mention. This caught me very off guard. So all of a sudden, Wells stands up and he
Takes off his glasses.
So Jeff says he's lying about not being able to see. He
Helen
stands up
Keller can see.
and he sees this article. It says
It said, missing Flash vanishes in crisis.
2024.
Yeah.
April 24th, 2024, something like that. So we go
4242024.
anyway. And with the braille on the wall, now you're sounding really okay. So we go to our Mr. Expert next to me, and he says,
Well, just the word crisis to any DC fan carries a lot of weight. In the DC world, they have a lot of big events, Infinite Crisis, Identity Crisis, that kind of stuff. So anything that mentions the word crisis is kind of big.
It's a code word.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those words where it's like, if you're talking about a crisis, then something big is happening. So that's exciting that they're kind of hinting at something huge that's going to happen in the future.
right.
The
But
question is, how did he get that newspaper?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if he's not, is he like a premonitioner?
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know who he actually is yet, but I read an interview with him that said, you might not know who I am, and you might, when you hear my name, you might recognize me.
I'm just curious about this like file that pops up, this like futuristic thing.
Yeah, it was like a hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Flashes can go into different eras, right? They can time lapse. They can go from time.
Well, different Flashes have different superpowers.
It said that all the Flashes have the ability though to go.
Well, there's the treadmill that the Flash uses to go back and forth through time.
Could it be that there's two Flashes in the same thing, and there's like the
That's definitely possible. Yeah.
No, that'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
So are you saying that maybe Harrison Wells might be also a Flash?
He might be a previous Flash that's maybe his like grandfather.
Predictions
cool.
from Ashley Daniels.
I'm just feeling that there's it's gonna come out later in time, but that he's been there, done that type of thing.
That could be very interesting.
Cool.
On that note, let's do a little bit of geeking out, because I know we've done some research. We know some people that are coming on the show. We have a lot to talk about, and we only have a few minutes to do it, so I'm going to save the breaking up between news and gossip predictions. This is everything right now.
Okay,
let's just get down into it. Who do we know is coming on the show in weeks to come?
Confirmed
If you don't want spoilers,
Yes.
stop
away.
listening now.
This is the time where we're about to ruin everything or make everything for you. Great. Okay, so confirmed metahumans.
Confirmed metahumans. We have Weather Wizard, which we very much know of. That was done. Girder. Okay. Firestorm and the Mist.
And Plastique.
And
Plastique,
and
I really like.
Not only do we have Plastique, but we also have her coming into studio. So
that's pretty
that
cool.
is very cool. You can stay tuned for that. We're going to have a lot of guests on this season, which is awesome. And very cool that we saw Wentworth is coming on. He was the guy from Prison Break. We've got a lot of really great guests coming on as Firestorm. It's actually Stephen Amell's who is on The Arrow, the main guy on The Arrow's cousin is going to play him. He was the lead on Tomorrow People, so all different crossovers, really cool. Another thing I loved about tonight's episode, when we had the Flash go to the Arrow and he says, take your own advice, wear a mask. We do know from watching Arrow that he actually made that mask. The Flash made that mask for the Arrow, because before that, the Arrow was doing a crap paint job on his eyes. He was literally painting his face with weird stuff. So that was a really cool moment too for people who are coming over from the Arrow, as a lot of fans, I'm assuming, are. Is there anything else that we want to share that we know is happening in coming weeks? I mean, that was a good call that you saw the Gorilla Grodd on the thing, so I'm assuming that maybe we're going to see him at some point. It's been hinted at.
Yeah. I don't know. We saw in the preview for next week that we're gonna see Mirror Master, who's like a classic Flash villain. Captain Cold is gonna be really interesting. I want to see how they do it. He's one of the most interesting villains in the DC universe.
Right. We know we have Felicity coming on too, who actually had a little romance with the Flash. Had Barry Allen when he was on Arrow,
exciting.
So she's coming on. We saw that in previews, which is awesome. We got a lot, guys. We got a lot to look forward to.
Jeez, I'm excited.
Again, the only thing that keeps us going through the week is you guys talking to us. So please let us know, team, starting with Jeffrey Masters. Where can everybody find you if they want to talk to you?
Oh my God. Okay, so my cell phone number is you can find me on social medias at Jeff Masters 1.
So easy. Great. I'm on Twitter at Ashley Daniels and Instagram at Miss Ashley Daniels.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Jess Klein1, JESS the number 1, and KLEIN. That's how you spell Klein.
And you're going to have to keep talking to him, because he's actually going to be leaving us for a little bit. He might come back as a guest host. If you loved him so much on tonight's episode, which I'm assuming you did, make sure you let us know, and we will try to bring him back as a guest.
Or you can call in too, maybe. Would you want to
call
in to us?
Yeah.
Whatever
I love that.
So let us know. And you can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar. You can find us at AfterBuzz TV. You can, as always, go to iTunes and YouTube, rate, comment, subscribe. Make sure you let us know what you're thinking. We love you guys so much. We love hearing what you have to say. You make this so much fun for us. So until next week, hope it comes faster than anything alive. Is that what it is?
The fastest man alive.
You really tried to fit it in there.
Oh, I did. It was too much, yeah? Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Everyone.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.